The Bureau of Meteorology is warning of flash flooding across Queensland's north as ex-cyclone Imogen causes widespread rain and thunderstorms. Flood warnings are in place for several rivers across the region, with the tropical low expected to dump significant rain over the next few days. I was having a look at the BOM website just before we came on air this morning, and I think the biggest falls this morning seem to be around Mission Beach, Ingham and Cardwell areas, up around 300 mils. That's Barron Falls there to the west of Cairns, you can see there now. But yeah, 300, up close to 300 mils in the last 24 hours in some of those spots. There's a severe weather warning for parts of the North Tropical Coast and Tablelands, the Herbert and Lower Burdekin, and the Central Coast and Whitsundays. The north is used to some of these big falls. There haven't been a hell of a lot of them over the past couple of decades because it's been so dry, but at least hopefully people will be safe, but it's good to see some rain there for these parched spots. Kylie Stretton is a cattle farmer from Red Hill Station in North Queensland, and she joins us now from the Burdekin River, about 40 k's north of Charters Towers, just inland from Townsville. Kylie, g'day. What's it like to have had all this rain over the past couple of days?
It's been an absolute relief. We've been quite lucky. We haven't got the major falls that further north has gotten. We've had fairly steady rain, and it's not the big falls, but it's been such a relief. We've got full dams and green grass for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, the Burdekin River is just such a mighty sight when it's in flood. How far are you on the Burdekin? Is that a dam behind you or part of the Burdekin?
Yeah. No, that's just a dam. That's our house dam. The Bedrock River is about 10 kilometres from our house. We haven't been to see it for a couple of days because when it gets too wet, it's a bit inaccessible from us from here. But our neighbours are right on the Bedrock, and they've said it's looking pretty impressive this morning.
Wow, okay. And so just explain for us what it's been like for you over the past couple of years there on your property.
It's been a really up and down, Joe. So in 2019, in February, we got the North Queensland monsoon came through, and then it didn't rain after that. We got all our average rainfall in 10 days in 2019, and we didn't get any rain until January in 2020. So that was a very long, dry year after all the damage of the flooding we got then. And then this year, or last year in 2020, we got all our rain in January, and it barely rained again for the rest of the year. So it's been very long and dry. We've destocked a lot of our cattle. We've sold them off to try and keep what we had alive. And we were about a week off looking at starting to feed them in the paddock with hay and molasses. So we were very grateful when this rain started to fall just after Christmas.
All right, so just a couple of weeks ago, you were thinking about having to bring feed in.
Yep, we set a date. We said by New Year's Day, if it hadn't have rained, we were going to start feeding cattle, and yeah, it rained on the 28th. So The rain started, and it's been raining on and off since. So it's been great.
I'm sure you're used to it, but it's a tough gig, isn't it, relying on that water falling from the sky?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's what we signed up for, and you've just got to try and manage it the best you can and make those calls early. Like when it got to March last year and we hadn't had much rain, we made the call then that, our wet season was done. Any rain we got was not going to grow a lot of grass. So we made that call then, and we were very grateful that we did.
And so to what extent did you destock through the year?
We destocked about a third of our breeding mob. So, quite a bit of our breeders. So we're quite down on that. And we also moved all our younger cattle off onto agistment as well. We trucked them off and are paying somebody else to have them in their paddocks. So, so we were really grateful we did make those decisions. Otherwise, we would have been in a bit of a mess, and nobody wants to see that.
Yeah. And has it been a bit frustrating for farmers because we'd heard all this talk from the experts about this year being a wet year, and you were kind of waiting for the wet to start?
Yeah. Absolutely, Joe, because we were told, in September, all the experts were saying it's going to be a wetter than average September, October, November, December. And if we had have known that those forecasts weren't going to come off, we would have sold a lot more cattle a lot earlier and not put ourselves in that position, or put our cattle or our land in that position where things were going to get very tough for all of us. So I think we're starting to lose a lot of trust in forecasts and that. I know it's impossible to forecast properly, but when it gets beat up like it did with La Nina this year, and took so long to come through. That's really devastating and tough for a lot of farmers. And there's still a lot of people out there that have missed out.
Yeah, because you're relatively close to the coast there. What are you hearing about how far rain has fallen inland? I know it's fallen further north around kind of Normanton, Croydon, but what about further inland from Townsville?
There's been some good falls, but there's also some areas. I've got a really good friend at Prairie, which is halfway between probably Charters Towers and Hewenden, a lot closer to Hewenden. So it's probably about 300 or 400 k's west of Townsville. They've had hardly anything, but some of their neighbours have had great rain. So it's still really patchy, and we need to remember that we've still got a lot of farmers out there that have missed out and are still in serious drought.
Yeah. Okay, Kylie, thanks so much for having a chat to us, and it's so great to see that dam full behind you there on Red Hill Station in North Queensland.
Beautiful. Thank you.